What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We are back with another juicy story time, finally. Oh man, I've been waiting to tell y'all this one. So what had happened was we went to see Hamilton, which if you guys know me, I've been a Hamilton fangirl since 2020 when I got to finally see it on Disney+. We were supposed to take a trip in uni to go and see it, but like my professor was pregnant and there was a bunch of issues with that. It got canceled and it was hard to get tickets, so we never got to go. And I finally got to go and I was so excited and I loved it. But there was an asshole behind me, open mouth coughing right on me and my boyfriend's mom the whole time, and he was eating Maltesers and drinking Coca-Cola. And long story short, I was a little under the weather for a few days, but we are back. I am all better. But this is why I get so irritated when people are in public spaces and don't take the consideration to wear a mask or cover your mouth at the bare minimum. Anyway, if you guys do enjoy these story times, do me a favor and please leave a like on the video, engage down below. I have a feeling you will have a lot to say about this video, but if you don't know what to say, leave a comment that simply says "for the watch." Also subscribe if you haven't already. We're growing this community together. It's better with you a part of it, so join up. Now, this story may be hard for some people to hear, maybe a little trigger warning-ish. There's some highs, some lows, and some fucked up in between. Patrons know exactly what I'm talking about because I did give a little hint as to what this story time is going to be about. The NSFW part of this story will be there on Patreon, but the other parts will be here for you guys to enjoy. I got to keep it ad-friendly here on YouTube. I'm so sorry. So if you want to see the not ad-safe friendly part, the link for my Patreon is down below in the description. This story stars Cinderella, we're going to call her Cindy, who wants to be anonymous for reasons I'm sure you will understand as we get through this story. So Cindy moved to South Korea as a fresh grad student from the States, deciding to pursue her education further in South Korea. She's definitely the go-getter type. She prioritized her studies above everything else. And because of that, she didn't bother to date too much, but she also felt like a lot of the guys in her small hometown weren't really on her level. A lot of them were content with just staying in that town. They didn't really study as much. They didn't have a lot of ambition or goals, and she just felt like that was boring to her. So she didn't really date too much while she was in school. She wanted someone who was ambitious, had long-term goals with her, serious about a serious relationship, wants to travel, keep studying, seeing what the whole world has to offer. And because she had difficulty finding that, she said, F it, I'm just gonna stay single. You know, I don't want to settle. I want to give my attention to someone who deserves it. So it is very important that you guys understand she has very little dating experience. So at the start of this story, Cindy has been in South Korea for a few months. Again, very book focused, so she doesn't really get out that much and she doesn't have a whole lot of friends aside from some of her dorm mates and some of her classmates. It's that whole classic situation of the introvert being adopted by the extroverts. I can relate to that. I'm an introvert and I love having extroverted friends because they put me in situations I wouldn't normally put myself in. And it's a good way to challenge yourself and go to a party you maybe wouldn't go to a concert you maybe wouldn't go to, try a restaurant or a bar, or go, you know, travel and do more that you wouldn't normally feel comfortable doing. So I love having extroverted friends. So it was one of these extroverted friends, we never get a name, but she's not really too relevant in the story. One of these friends said, I know this great guy who is just like you but in male form. He studies all the time, he's really cute, he's really shy. He would honestly have girls all over him if he just got out more, but he is so book focused, so he's just like you. And that actually piqued Cindy's curiosity.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
So her friends end up convincing her to at least meet him near campus for a cup of coffee. Like, what could go wrong? It's coffee. Y'all both need coffee. All y'all do is study. And she was particularly excited because the friend told her, you know, ever since I showed him your picture, he is so excited to meet you. He thinks you're so cute. So they meet over coffee. They're the same age. They have so much in common. They're in a similar educational field and background. His name is Jungmin, by the way. We're going to call him Jungmin. We're not going to give last names, but I have noticed that lately when you guys send in your stories, you're more comfortable just giving their first name. But honestly, a lot of these name combinations are pretty like common, so it's really hard to pick down any particular person. So Jungmin, we're not worried about surnames, even though a lot of the last names are common as well. We're gonna call him Jungmin, and that's his name, Jungmin. She did say that she found him very cute and he's nice and tall, very studious as described. But the more time she spent with him, she noticed there were some things that were used to describe him that doesn't quite accurately capture who he is. Well, she's like, he's not at all like that. You're lying to me. So when they met up, they talked about their degrees, their hobbies, movies, music, what they like to do for fun. And this first meeting was brief. They didn't want to be too long because they're like, listen, let's not drag this out. I got shit to do. I got to study. And they both were like in agreement on that. But they did decide that they liked each other enough to stay in communication. So the next time they met up was going to be their actual real first proper date. They were going to go to see a movie and then grab some dinner. And it's funny because there were two movies that they both wanted to see and they couldn't decide which one to see. They wanted to see Mickey 17 and they wanted to see Captain America Brave New World. So they're like, which one did we see? Trying to compare the pros and cons, see which one had a higher rating. Well, this one is the same director of Parasite. That's got to be better. It's like, oh, but this one, the MCU is being reset up. It's got to be good too. So they end up seeing both movies. Bruh. Their first date, they saw Mickey 17, Brave New World, and then went to dinner. But the problem is, while they were watching these movies, there were so many like 1+1 couple snacks. They end up eating so much snacks. They're like, you know what? I'm not even hungry for dinner. So after the movies, they decided to just go for a walk. It's the weekend. There's a lot going on, a lot of people out. Let's just see what we get into. So one thing, you know, after having sat through 2 long movies with each other, they didn't have to talk that much. But now that they're out, and they see people around them socializing and laughing and being with people they clearly know very well and comfortably, they realize how awkward things still were between them two. So Jungmin said, how about we get a drink somewhere? And honestly, Cindy was like, that would be perfect. I need to loosen up a little bit. So they found a pub that wasn't too busy at first, but it quickly got busy inside. And they realized it's too loud for us to talk in here. So let's finish this drink and go outside and finish talking. So yes, their first date was also a success. They both liked the movie. They found something to talk about after they had a few drinks and loosened up, and things were good. Again, let's keep in touch. I'll see you soon. It was cute as they were even meeting up in the middle of the week to study together, whether it was just quietly sitting with each other in the library, quietly sitting with each other in a cafe. They just wanted to study in near proximity to each other, and that's so cute. They would literally sit there in silence with their books open and their laptops open, and admittedly, it was a very slow burn. And unfortunately, this is where things started to take a turn for the fucked up. One of Cindy's friends, and I use air quotes because would a friend really do this? No! One of her friends didn't like how slow things were going between Cindy and Jungmin. So later in the story, there's a revelation of what she told Jungmin about Cindy, lying about Cindy, whatever claims she made, and it started to affect Jungmin's behavior towards Cindy. Stay tuned for that. So up to this point, from Cindy's point of view, they are very alike. They have a lot in common. But one thing that was weird is he did start to get more suggestive and forward with her, saying things about her body and how good it looks, what a good cuddler he is, things of that nature. And at first she couldn't tell if like this is just me spending more time with him and he's getting more comfortable with me and this is like who he is, or he's just trying new things out. I don't know. I haven't known him long enough yet. But either way, she's like, this isn't the super sweet, shy guy that was described to me. Like, he's super sweet, but a shy guy wouldn't be this bold about my body and talking about us being in bed together and him cuddling me. Like, that's unlike him so far. But aside from all of that, she did really, really like him. She saw like potential with him in the long term, and they even talked about that together. But unfortunately, weirdly enough, she found that suddenly he was a little hard to get a hold of, and suddenly he wasn't really trying to study with her as much. So she'd say, hey, I'm free after 1. Do you want to meet me in the library? Normally would he say, yes, I'll see you soon. Suddenly he's like, oh, I'm actually busy. How about we meet for dinner? Or, oh, I'm busy. Maybe we can meet around 9 or 10 when I'm done with class. And she's like, why do you only want to meet late in the night? So for Cindy, it didn't take long for this dodging their attempts to meet up before she started to lose interest. And she said, you know what, I'm not even going to try anymore. If he's too busy, that's cool. I recognize the pattern. The best of luck to him. So she wasn't reaching out to him anymore to see if he wanted to study or grab tea or lunch during the day, because he only said, yeah, let's meet up tonight. I'm actually busy until dinner. Let's have dinner. Let's meet at 9. Let's meet at 10. She's like, nah, I'm good. But suddenly he hit her up one day and said, hey, I'm free this afternoon. We should hang out. And it was the weekend. So she's like, oh, yeah, like, what did you have in mind? So they end up having lunch. They just said, let's just start with lunch. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been about a week since they actually hung out in person, along with a week or so of decreased communication. So they do reunite over lunch. And just to keep you guys like up to date with the time frame, it's been about 2 months since they met each other at this point. So when they finally reunited over lunch, Jungmin seemed really different again. She said he seemed way less shy and even a little bit arrogant sometimes. But again, she's like, I guess this is just him getting more comfortable and being more himself around me. I don't know. But anyway, they did have a good lunch. It was a nice little catch up, and once it was over, he suggested they go to get some dessert after because he didn't want this reunion to end. And he also suggested some sort of activity. He's like, oh, do you bowl? Maybe we can go bowling. Do you like batting cages? Have you ever been? Let's do something together like during the day, which is what she wanted all along. She agreed, and she noticed that while they were walking in the street, like from the restaurant for where they had lunch to where they're going to have dessert, he was a lot more affectionate with her. Like he had his arm around her. Up to this point, they had only held hands like once or twice, but this time he like had his arm around her. He was like looking at her more deeply, and she felt like there was a shift in him. So she said it was a shock, but a good one. So as their day goes by, they're having a really good time with each other. He made his most bold suggestion yet. He asked Cindy if she would like to spend time with him one-on-one. She's like, is that not what we're doing right now? Like, we've been together one-on-one all day. He's like, no. I mean, like, alone, just you and me, no one else. He's like, maybe we can cuddle, we can watch a movie, have some snacks, and spend the night together. And she knew what he was getting at. She's like, okay, I see where you're going with this. So Cindy has some thoughts about this. On one hand, she really did like him. And up to this morning, she thought that was it. Like, he was gone, he had lost interest, he met someone else, whatever. So she was so happy to be back with him again. She was like, I mean, if we are going to be long term, we should see if we are compatible doing this as well, because it has been like 2 months since I met you. So with curiosity, she agreed to join him at a hotel. Now, they had to go home and pack something real quick. So she packed an overnight bag from her dorm. He packed an overnight bag from his home. And then they met in front of the hotel around 6 p.m. And he also brought his laptop so they could watch some movies. Cindy was actually pretty excited because she hadn't been with a guy intimately in 3 years. And again, after not hearing from him and with the communication slowly like dwindling down, she thought he didn't like her anymore. So a part of her was relieved that he did still like her. So up to this point, they had kissed like on the lips. That's it, right? As soon as they got into the hotel, he like went for it, like tongue, like they made out for the first time in their relationship. And she felt more relaxed in this hotel than she expected, but she had known him for like 2 months. And she was also eager and excited, and she felt really comfortable around him. So as they're making out, she's like, wait, like let's shower and let's put on a movie. He agreed. He's like, yeah, you know, it's been a long day. Let's get cleaned up. So he let her shower first. And when she got out, she saw the movie was queued up. It was some Netflix scary movie. And he also had like bowls of some chips out and some sparkling soju set to the side. He even lit a candle. So once she got out of the shower, it was his turn to go and shower. And you know, he wasn't too pushy or anything. Like, he didn't suggest they shower together. So she really liked that he wasn't trying to put any extra added pressure on her. And while he was in the shower, she said she found it her best opportunity to like look around, see if there's any cameras, inspect anything, maybe make sure he didn't bring anything inappropriate. And she was relaxed, reassured, everything felt perfectly fine and safe. He seemed so respectful, and he also kept asking, is this okay? Are you okay? Do you like this? Like, all throughout their whole night together. So when he got out of the shower though, understandably, the movie was kind of watching them. They weren't really watching the movie. They weren't drinking any soju. They weren't eating any snacks. They were so focused on each other. So, while they were making out, you know, her tongue's fiddling around in there, she noticed like a bump or some sort of wound on the inside of his cheek. And she said she just assumed, like, you know how when you eat too fast and you accidentally bite the inside of your cheek? She thought maybe that's what it was, because she felt it like on the inside. Didn't think too much of it at all. Just let me avoid that so I don't potentially irritate it any more than it probably already is. She also noticed one like on the inside of his bottom lip. And again, she thought, oh, maybe he ate too fast, maybe he ate something really hot. She did not imagine it could be anything serious, but unfortunately it turned out to be much more serious than she thought it could ever be. Long story short, they had a really good, intimate night together. They both enjoyed each other's time. They cuddled, both fully satisfied. Great night. We're very compatible with each other in this regard as well. So yeah, what's really important to know here is that she felt something inside his mouth twice, like there and like down here somewhere. And she dismissed it, thinking, no, nothing too serious, no big deal, but it's something we have to keep an eye on, especially for the revelation coming now. So in the coming days, nothing really changed between them. They were still going out, talking just as much, studying together. Everything was back to normal. One major difference, though, is they officially started to date and became a couple. And one thing she really liked is he didn't say, can you be my girlfriend? He said, can I be your boyfriend? And she really liked that. Like, yes, it is an honor to be my boyfriend. I will allow you to be my boyfriend type shit. So because things were heading in the right direction, Cindy decided to tell her friends. And unfortunately, this included the friend that said something to Jungmin and made him act crazy, like weird and different. So basically, we find out that Cindy's friend told Jungmin that he should try to be more suggestive with her. He should try to be more forward with sleeping with her.
What the? Boy, it be your own peoples. Now, I thought you was better than that.
And this is why Jungmin suddenly refused the daytime hangouts and only wanted to meet up for dinner or later in the evening. And this is when he started talking about how good of a cuddler he is, and when he started talking about how great her body looks. And the thing is, when the friend revealed this to Cindy, she has this like tone about her, like, you should be so grateful. Look, you guys are a couple now. Everything I did worked. Like, why are you upset with me? Cindy never said that. Like, she never wanted that. She never wanted to rush anything like that. She was perfectly okay with their study sessions in the library and in a cafe. She was fine with that. So if anything, it made her a lot more confused about what he really wanted and what was the whole personality change up about. Cindy believes that her friend was just really frustrated with how slow things were progressing between Jungmin and Cindy. That messy friend that wants to shake things up. So understandably, Cindy and this friend were not okay after that. She wanted to ask Jungmin about what this friend told her, and yeah, totally confirmed, verified. You should try to sleep with her. You should be more suggestive. She likes that. This is how Western girls are, like that type of mindset. Like, why are you spreading lies? Why are you contributing to this problem that foreign girls are so easy?
Why be your own people?
So now this is awkward, right? Because Cindy is like, who are you even? Like, I didn't realize you were the type of person that could change their behavior because someone told you you should do something differently. Like, she didn't like that at all about him. So with this revelation, things did become a bit strained with their relationship. Like, they were still talking, but there was clear tension unaddressed between the two of them. And unfortunately, things were about to get so much worse. So at this point, it's been about a month since they first kissed and made out and slept together. Cindy noticed like a weird sore or raised bump on like the inside of her downstairs lips, and it didn't hurt. So she's like, oh, maybe it's like an ingrown hair. Maybe I cut myself shaving. It's, you know, nothing too serious. And eventually that did just completely go away. But then she noticed one in her mouth, and this felt familiar. She remembers feeling something similar when she was making out with Jungmin. So she started to look at it in the mirror and compare it with pictures online, and her heart dropped when she saw this was identical to this picture online, which says syphilis right below it. And in her mind, she's like, what the hell? Like, I could have only gotten this from one person. I need to talk to Jungmin. So she called him and brought up the sores that she felt that night when they first got together, and asked him, like, were they reoccurring? Is that a first time thing? Did he bite his mouth? Is that what caused it? Like, what was that? I need an explanation. So he's like, what are you talking about? She said, when we kissed that night, I felt one on the inside of your cheek and one under your lip on the inside. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What sores? What wound? What mouth? What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
She's like, if I felt them, I know you did too. Like, I know you felt that rubbing against your tooth. I know you felt that, like, next to your tongue. Like, I know you felt it because I did. So she explains her symptoms. She explains the one that was down there that went away and the one that's in her mouth now. And she even sent him a picture of it. So he's like, oh, this looks serious. You should go to a doctor and get this looked at right away. So she does. She's like, you know what? Yeah, before I freak out, let me go see exactly what this is first from a professional. They swabbed the wound. They took some blood, ran some tests. The next day she got an email and a phone call saying she has syphilis.
I'm not gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay.
I don't want anything. I need something.
Yeah.
With this diagnosis, again, now it's all confirmed. She could have only gotten this from one person. She needs to address Jungmin directly. She calls him. So she doesn't mince her words. She says, Jungmin, you need to get tested. You gave me syphilis. Again, though, he has no idea what she's talking about. He's had no symptoms. He can't recall what she's talking about. So she says, you are the only person I've kissed and made out with and slept with in the past 3 years. I know it was you. You had those sores in your mouth when I was kissing you and when you went down. Now I have a one down there that's healed and I have one up here. Like, that's not a coincidence. And she even says, play dumb all you want. If you choose to ignore this, it could kill you. But guys, instead of acknowledging the severity and the seriousness of this situation, he deflects blame and says that she gave it to him.
Around me are familiar faces, worn out.
Cindy can't believe this is real right now. Jungmin was the perfect guy up to this point, with the exception of the weird behavior when he started to get suggestive and compliment her body and bring up cuddling and wanting to meet up late in the night. But she chalked that up. She said, you know what? That was my friend being a meddling bitch. Like, that wasn't you. You've been perfect up to this point. What are you doing now? Like, well, what is this? This is so not like you. She had never had any sort of symptoms, no sores, no fevers, no, all of her checkups have always been normal, nothing until she slept with this man. So for him to deflect the blame on her, she was just beyond shocked and disappointed and hurt. And she's also upset because she's like, wait, how long have you had this? Like, I don't know, maybe you've had this for years and chose to ignore it. Or maybe in the early days while we were getting to know each other, you got with somebody and that's when I wasn't hearing from you. And then you got something and now you gave it to me. So they were arguing on the phone until it became too incoherent and unproductive. He's starting to scream in Korean. She doesn't really understand him. They're getting really loud, so she just hung up the phone. He tried to call her back almost immediately, but she did not answer. So he sent her a text saying this: "You give me syphilis, then accuse me of such. You hang up instead of discussing. So childish. Your friends say you like sex. I'm thinking this is true. This is the only explanation. Korean men don't have this issue."
What did he say?
What you say?
"You gave me sex disease. We are finished. Don't blame me." And as soon as I saw that Korean men don't have this issue, I was like, this better not be more of that kimchi prevents STDs bullshit, because I'm so sick of hearing that. So Cindy was like, ain't no f***ing way. Not only was he calling her a hoe, but blaming her for catching syphilis from him and trying to pretend that he's the victim in this and it's her fault. She's like, I've wasted so many years, like, keeping to myself and just focusing on my studies and not bothering with dating, and it left me vulnerable to this type of bullshit, like falling for someone who I thought was on my level, but I didn't date around enough to know any better, to know the signs of, oh, I can pretend to be perfect and I can pretend to be the person of your dreams, and then once I got you trapped, I can pull the Uno reverse card on you, or like Yu-Gi-Oh when you activate a trap card. So she's angrily texting back to him. She's like, you're the one who lets other people control your behavior and your actions and what you do. You're the one who's been sleeping around. The first time we kissed, I felt the sores in your mouth. She even said, men are trash, you're no better. Maybe you should ignore this and die from it.
Damn!
She admits she was angry and just wanted to hurt him like he hurt her. So after that text, he just blocked her. So this all went down, like they met about 5 or 6 months ago. She has no idea if he ever decided to go get looked at or treated, or if he's choosing to just live in denial. But one of the reasons she says she wants to name him Jongmin is if you're ever in Korea and you're dating somebody named Jongmin, just double check. Just be careful and make sure they don't have syphilis. By the way, guys, after she was diagnosed over the phone and via email, the doctors called her and said, hey, this is when you should come in to get looked at. So she got that all treated, perfectly healed. It was early enough, thank God. Cindy says while she's living in Korea, she's definitely going to be very cautious, especially because this kind of coincides with a news article that she read the other day. Korean men make up over 3 out of 4 syphilis cases in Korea. 2,800 cases were found in Korea last year, and the majority of patients were men who were in their 20s and 30s. And it's also mostly in the Seoul area. Even with condoms, you can get it, so please be careful. Women can pass it to their children. Eventually, you get symptoms like fever and swollen lymph nodes, and it can progress to life-threatening conditions. Get tested frequently and make sure your partner does the same. Sometimes you're lucky, I guess, and there are symptoms like swollen sores that don't hurt, but you can have it for years and not know as well. And sometimes you don't find out until it's too late. So ladies, please don't let any man try to tell you, we don't need protection, I don't have anything, I can't catch anything because I eat kimchi, because that is bullshit. Cindy, I'm so glad you're healthy now. I'm glad you caught this early. I'm glad you treated it early. I'm glad you've moved on from that clown. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck with your studies, best of luck with your future, your goals, your ambitions, your girlhood. Yes, queen. So guys, let me know how you feel about the story in the comments below. And if you want more story times like this, binge the playlist is about to pop up on the end screen. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.